Good evening, and thank you for joining us at Teacher Talk Tuesday. This is your host, Dr. Yvonne Henderson. Today, I would like to talk about accountability. When it comes to students, who should be accountable? The students, the teacher, the school, or the parents? Now, in my years of teaching, I have learned and realized that most students are not held accountable for their actions. A lot of times it is always give back to the teacher as to why a student has not accomplished what they needed to accomplish. And from a teacher standpoint, it's always pointed back to the parents and why the students are not doing what they need to do. But never has anyone ever held the students accountable for their own actions. I have taught grades 3 through high school. And I have noticed that even with the younger kids, third graders seem to have a little bit more responsibility and more accountability for their own work than high school students. Seems kind of strange, but it is true. I have noticed that over the years, students, as as they get older, become a lot more lackadaisical. We have this new generation, and we keep giving all of these generations different acronyms or different names. We had Generation X, then we had Generation Next, now we have the Millennials. It's just that every time something happens, we change the names, but yet and still we are not holding students accountable. We have students now who feel privileged. These are our millennial babies that we call them, who now feel like everything that is given to them has to be given to them on a silver platter. There's no accountability. Students nowadays do not take responsibility for their actions. They don't feel like it's necessary for them to check in and do their work. I remember my first year teaching, we had to come up with what you call rules or norms for our class. We had to have expectations. There was a list of things that students needed to know that teachers were going to hold them responsible for. And I remember in one district we had to come up with acronyms for being safe, being responsible, and being productive. And in that, we had to come up with ways that students were to be responsible, how students were to be safe, and how students were going to be productive in the classroom. All of the responsibilities went back to the students being held accountable. However, we've gotten away from that now. We don't have expectations that are listed that students are responsible for. In my earlier years of teaching, we had consequences for students who didn't follow the expectations, who didn't do what they were supposed to do. There were always some type of responsibility or an accountability piece that happened as a result of them not doing what they were supposed to. For instance, if they didn't come to class prepared with paper and pencils, after the first time, you get a warning. The second time, you get a warning and maybe a detention. The third time, it was a phone call home. And after that, then there was a parent conference. So we don't do that anymore now. Students nowadays, the teachers, the schools tell us that we're responsible for the kids coming in. You can't hold it against them for not coming to school with a pencil. You can't hold it against them for coming to school and not having paper and not being prepared for class. My whole take on that is, well, when they left home to go to school that morning, where did they think they were going? Why is it now the school's responsibility to make sure that students have paper and pencils and pens and notebooks and folders and binders? When I was growing up, the parents were responsible for that stuff. We ask parents to give pencils and pens and supplies for the classroom, and parents don't want to give anything. They don't want to participate. They don't want to be held accountable for their students being productive in the classroom. So, when are we going to stop pampering kids and parents and making them more accountable? We have got to stop. There are things that we are looking at now with our classes. I'm looking at papers, I'm looking at the online working, and I'm looking at assignments that are being turned in that are less than acceptable. And I'm dealing with middle schoolers right now. And it is a crying shame with some of the stuff that I'm seeing because they're no longer in the classroom. So they feel like there's no accountability. Who's holding them responsible for getting their work done? I have 98 students that I am accountable for in my 6th grade classes. And out of the 98 students that I have, I've only had 36 students to log into the remote classroom in the last 2 weeks. So who is going to be held responsible for that? Who should be accountable for that? Should that be on the teacher? Should that be on the parent? Or should that be on the school? Or better yet, maybe the students ought to be more responsible. We are, as parents, we go out and we buy them $900 iPhones, but yet we can't get them to get online to do their work. We can't get them to log in with their phones. They're Snapchatting and FaceTiming all of their friends, but yet you can't get them to do their assignments. But then you want to send me an email or a text message or a message through the remote classroom on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning wanting to know when can their child get their work done. Their assignment can't be turned in because it's locked. Well, it's late now. My office hours and my work hours are Monday through Friday. I'm not checking the remote school on Saturday and Sunday. That's my time. Nor am I checking on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday afternoon or evening at 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. School hours are over. Why are we not making our students accountable for what they need to do to be successful? It's time out to stop blaming the teacher for students not getting their work done. We can only do so much. At some point in time, we need to start making students more accountable for their actions. They need to understand that when you don't do your work, you don't get a grade. We are so busy weighting things and classifying them as, oh, it's not going to count. It won't weigh as much. So we're just going to let it go and we're not going to make them worry about it. What are they going to do when they get a job? What are they going to do when they get a job? And their boss gives them an assignment or tells them to do something and they don't have it done. They won't have a job. We need to stop pacifying students and coddling them and prepare them for the future. We need to prepare them for reality. Well, I guess that's my soapbox for today. Dealing with accountability. Who's accountable? Who do we hold accountable? The teachers, the students, the parents, or the school? Give me your thoughts. Send me a message, an email at teachertalktuesday@gmail.com. And that's teachertalk, the number 2, UESDAY @gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing your comments. And until next time, this has been your host, Dr. Yvonne Henderson, with Teacher Talk Tuesday.